Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from World Cast Anglers here with your Jackson Hole weekend fly fishing forecast for the weekend of June 5th and 6th. We hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend and 3-day weekend last weekend. It's like a switch. Summer's here. We're looking at daytime temperatures in the next couple days here in the mid 80s, even the low 90s down in the upper Snake River Plain. Tributaries like Trail Creek behind me are rising, clarity is decreasing, flows are increasing, which is a true sign that runoff is here, and it's pretty much here to stay. Looking into our weekend Saturday, we've got 80 degrees and 47 degrees, mostly sunny. Sunday, 75 and 48 with a lot of sun, and our 10-day forecast looks like a lot more of the same. Daytime temperatures in the low 80s. Nighttime temperatures, evening temperatures there around the mid 40s. So summer's here, has its firm grasp upon us here, moving into the rest of our summer season, even though it's not technically summer yet. Jackson Lake, 95% of capacity. Palisades Reservoir, 86% of capacity. We saw some increases this week coming out of the South Fork of the Snake. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw some more increases coming out of the Snake there in Jackson Lake Dam, with it getting so close. Consumptive water users downstream are starting to call for more water for irrigation and farming purposes and everything like that. So subsequently, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some flows increase here in the next 5 to 10 days coming out of the Snake or the South Fork of the Snake. The Henry's Fork, 473 CFS there in the Box Canyon, 1,500 CFS there on the lower river. Salmon flies have pretty much finished up on the lower river. We've got some leftover golden stones, leftover caddis. Be on the lookout for the beginning of the drakes. We've had some good reports of guides coming back where they've been fishing the lower Henry's Fork and they've had drake nymphs crawling all over them, a couple buzzing around. It's a little bit early, but this heat and dry weather is a little bit early as well. Subsequently, I would expect some of our hatches, especially on the lower Henry's Fork, to start earlier than normal, so the green drakes would be right on par of coming up next. The Box Canyon, it's been fishing really well. You've got the salmon flies there from Riverside up, so nymphing with big rubber legs, tactical tungsten pheasant tails, zebra midges, all the tailwater fare of the Box Canyon has been fishing really well, and the dry dropper fishing up there has been really good too. Small dry fly fishing around the Wood Road 16 area now that those flows have dropped in the Box Canyon to something a little bit more manageable. We should see better opportunities and more consistent opportunities for dry fly fishing there around the Wood Road area, and as well as Riverside. So the ranch doesn't open for another 11 days per se, so if you're looking for that sort of small technical head hunting dry fly fishing, that Wood Road 16 area is going to be the best place to be. South Fork of the Snake, 12,800 CFS being discharged from Jackson Lake Dam, 12,900 CFS there being taken out at Heise, or around Heise. So you're seeing that there's only 100 CFS difference between what's being discharged from the dam and the flow at Heise, which is a tad bizarre, but that should tell you that water managed, consumptive water users are starting to take a lot of water out of the river system for irrigation purposes. Subsequently, you'll see some higher river flows during those times. The clarity on the South Fork of the Snake for this time of year is spectacular. I think a lot of that low-level runoff and a lot of that low-level snow burned off in March, when we had in April, when we had that first warm weather snap, and now we're left with a lot of snowpack left really high, which is going to sort of trickle out right now. So what is that? That's creating some really good conditions on the South Fork of the Snake, where normally we get, you know, from the falls downstream, some decreased clarity and things along those lines. So from the dam down to South Fork 4, the entire river's fishing pretty darn good. River traffic has been really low because most people have been up on the Henry's Fork chasing salmon flies and some of the dry fly fishing. So it's a really good time to be on the South Fork of the Snake if you're looking for a lack of crowds and people. Mostly, if not strictly a subsurface game, nymphing with rubber legs, worms, Perdigons, jig pheasant tails, Duracells, any of that kind of stuff has been pretty good. Streamer fishing has been fair to good, but those water temperatures are still really cold, so keep those things in mind. The Teton, 875 CFS here in the valley around Driggs, 2,070 CFS on the lower river. Trail Creek behind me is high and muddy. The entire river system on the Teton is high, muddy, unstable. Should probably be that way for the next 2.5 to 3.5 weeks as everything starts to trickle out of the high country there around us. Snake and Jackson, we saw some increases there. 3,310 CFS being discharged from Jackson Lake Dam. 13,400 CFS going into Palisades Reservoir before the salt and the grays. Similarly to the Teton, the snake is high, it's dirty, chocolate milk, whatever you want to say. Pretty much unfishable, if not unfishable at this time. The Firehole, 404 CFS around West Yellowstone. The Madison, 613 CFS around West Yellowstone. We had Yellowstone National Park open up last week. It's offering some really good fishing opportunities with caddis, PMBs, and some leftover blue ring olives, swinging soft tackles, and then some dry dropper fishing there on the Madison right there near the park boundary, especially with some of the salmon flies, golden stones, and things along those lines. You've also got Henry's Lake, which opened last Saturday. You've got Lewis Lake that opened last Saturday. You've got Jenny, Lee, String Lake. All of those lakes are starting to fish well, and as water temperatures warm, you're going to see better fishing opportunities than just sort of the dredging with full sinking lines and things along those lines. So if you're not interested in Henry's Fork or the South Fork, you've got some great stillwater fisheries. Get your stillwater fix right now while that fishing is good and people are sort of wrapping up their dry fly fishing and salmon fly fishing fix there on the Henry's Fork. We're on full summer hours, Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. there at the Fly Shop. We're stocked, we're ready to go for all of your needs, so stop in, say hey, we'll get you set up for whatever you need and wherever you're going. So everyone have a great weekend and a safe weekend out there on the water. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you here next week.